Good evening. We begin with a sobering sight at one of Adelaide's most popular beaches. Scientists in hazmat suits searching for clues to our deepening bird flu crisis.
The virus is now believed responsible for a second fur seal death, the Premier describing the escalation as incredibly concerning, with no hope of a vaccine anytime soon.
This chilling image of a suited-up purser official with a collection bag at Henley Beach today could become a common sight along our coastline. H5 bird flu has now entered our fur seal population, with one confirmed in the southeast and another likely at the Pages off Kangaroo Island.
Incredibly concerning, but we're even more concerned about the prospect of Australian sea lions.
Seabirds are mixing with these fur seals in the same areas. There's going to be more to come.
Because they're sharing those environments, they continue to be at a higher risk.
US trials are promising, but still no safe marine mammal vaccine exists. At least they can help protect precious fairy penguins. An overnight Operation Vax was conducted on Victoria's Phillip Island, where they can be herded and then jabbed. At least it's a start.
It may provide a level of ability to recover from the disease if it does catch it.
We do want to see South Australia tap into this.
Our problem is rapidly becoming the entire nation's problem. Once it spreads to mammals, it raises it to a new level.
We already know that the biggest threat to our endangered wildlife is habitat destruction, and now they're being hit with bird flu.
The Greens are demanding action from the Prime Minister this week at National Cabinet. A pause on any clearing or development until the bird flu crisis ends, and that seems a long way off. Mike Smithson, 7 News.
An alleged bikie banned from using firearms has faced court after being busted shooting for prizes in a carnival game.
Hannah Ford was in court, and Hannah, 7 News can reveal he was already in custody.
That's right, Will. Timothy Simpson was arrested over the weekend while in the cells on unrelated charges. The alleged Comanchero bikie is accused of breaching a firearms ban by playing a popular sideshow alley game at a Port Wollonga carnival, trying his luck at winning a toy for his daughter. But there were no prizes for him today. The magistrate agreeing to keep him locked up. His lawyer said he wouldn't be making an application for bail. Would you say that this was a toy gun at a carnival, and would you think the charges are too harsh?
I can't make any comment, thank you.
The magistrate made it clear that being near and or firing a gun is clearly an offence when subject to a prohibition order, pointing out that Simpson is a serious firearms offender, but understood it wasn't the gravest type of this sort of accused crime. The 48-year-old father will remain behind bars until January unless his matter can be called on earlier. Rosanna.
All right, thank you, Hannah. There's more pain for the 5 stars who plunged the Sydney Swans into crisis. The AFL CEO finally faced the cameras today, declaring new punishments over the scandal, with the alleged victims now claiming multiple assaults.
The tensions of the hardest week in Swans history told in the faces of the players post-match.
Very emotional scenes here on what has been a very dark and difficult week.
The fan support overwhelming for some.
They do it for us every week, but this week felt a little bit extra special.
And in a quiet player pact, each had taped their wrists, a solidarity gesture.
To rally and stand together was the most pleasing thing.
The AFL pushing on too, today launching the final series. Interesting choice of room to do it. The Pullman Hotel looming in the background as the CEO, in his first public appearance, defended the code.
I think the actions of a few don't define the actions of the entire industry.
The Pullman Five, Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, Riley Bice, James Jordan and Nick Blakey, suspended over the hotel scandal a week ago. Further punished today, out of Brownlow night.
The invitations for the Brownlow will be going out this week. Those players won't be invited.
But technically still eligible, as an online petition demands they be kicked out altogether. The AFL also confirming none had been tested for drugs, but saying they might.
And in any event, a hair sample that would be taken, it goes back 3, 4, 5 months.
with confirmation lawyers for the three women at the centre of the scandal are now claiming there were multiple assaults, not just the one police are investigating.
And whatever the outcome of the criminal investigation, we intend to explore other avenues for our client to seek justice.
All three seeking compensation.
We will be putting all of the relevant parties on notice in due course.
The five only admitting behaviour breaches.
Are you allowed to drink alcohol during the season?
You really only have a few drinks when there's a longer break.
This interview with Isaac Heaney surfacing from last year.
I'm a bit of a saint in season and loosen up in the off-season.
Not, it seems, this season. Chris Reason, 7 News.
Well, winter isn't quite done with us yet, with some serious rain to hit tonight after what's been a really soggy day.
Let's go live to Casey Treloar with the details. And Casey, how much rain are we expecting?
Rosanna, we are looking at falls of 20 to 40 millimetres, even possibly up to 60 millimetres with some thunderstorms tonight. Now, that includes for areas like Adelaide, as well as the Eyre, York and Fleurieu Peninsulas and the Hills, with the Bureau considering issuing a heavy rainfall warning for these areas later tonight. Flash flooding a risk as well. So far, the city gauge has collected 9 millimetres, with heavier falls in the west. Port Lincoln has already picked up more than 30 millimetres. We've also seen temperatures drop and winds are set to pick up. And in these cold, wet and windy conditions, a code blue has been declared, making extra resources and accommodation available to those sleeping rough. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Casey. A pedestrian's recovering after being struck by a ute at Lower Mitcham. The 59-year-old woman was hit on Wattlebury Avenue just before 6:30 this morning. She was rushed to hospital, but her injuries aren't considered life-threatening. The 79-year-old driver from Belair is assisting police.
The distraught family of disabled woman Annie Smith has labelled chronic failures by her care provider as abysmal and incomprehensible. But company director Amy Collins maintains she's not responsible for Annie's death because her carer failed to tell her she was gravely ill.
Annie Smith's death while confined to a wicker chair was horrific and cruel. Her family still reconciling how neglect of this severity was able to continue without detection, telling Integrity Care Director Amy Collins, "She endured suffering not you, I or any other human being should ever experience." Collins pleaded guilty to reckless conduct. Her lawyer said his client relied solely on Miss Smith's carer, Rosa Mayoni, for information, while admitting the company's checks and balances were deficient and it failed to do regular assessments. From Annie Smith's uncle, that such neglect and indifference combined with a lack of oversight could operate for so long, I find overwhelming. Their failures were abysmal and incomprehensible. The court heard that during her time as carer, Rosa Mayoni had hip replacement surgery and while recuperating, sent her daughter-in-law in to look after Annie Smith, but didn't tell anyone from Integrity Care. Through her lawyer, Collins said she was genuinely remorseful, should have done more, thinks often of Miss Smith and what she endured in the final weeks. The 54-year-old died of septic shock in her squalid Kensington Park home in 2020. The Smith family wants accountability. Justice for Annie cannot change the past, but it could change the future for those who still and will depend on others for their well-being and safety. Deanna Williams, 7 News.
A man's been hauled from the ocean during a dramatic nighttime rescue off Henley Beach. He was seen in the water near the jetty just after 10 last night. The police helicopter, Star Group officers, paramedics and surf lifesavers rushed to the scene. The man reportedly resisted their help. Specialist police eventually coaxed the man aboard a surf rescue boat. He was brought back to shore and taken to hospital for assessment.